Chapter 13, 98, Thousand Transformations. Ancestor. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. The sun was blazing. The rays were like countless arrows shooting down at this majestic desert. On this desert, there were countless sand statues. These statues made from sand had the forms of humans or beasts. Some were fighting, while some were lying down, looking like they were on their final breaths. There were larger and smaller sand statues, but the smallest one was tens of feet tall. Countless statues formed a forest of sand statues. It was a grand sight. It was the Myriad Statue Desert. This desert was huge. There were countless sand statues in it. Everyone in Western Desert's goo immortal world knew about it. It had a long history. It was formed during the Olden Antiquity era and had been around for over 1,000,000 years. This desert was formed from a particularly important situation in human history. It was during reckless savage demon Venerable's era. A huge battle was fought here between humans and variant humans. After 100 days and night, rivers of blood flowed, almost turning into a sea. During that era, transformation path was the mainstream path. In the battle, humans won a Pyrrhic victory, be it the humans or the variant humans. Large numbers of goo immortals died here. Their immortal fetuses formed into blessed lands. Their Tao marks spread out and changed the environment. Gradually, this became the Myriad Statue Desert. The sand moved on its own, growing like trees at a slow rate each year, eventually turning into huge statues. This was the former location of the great battle where the different races fought from day until night. Countless life forms died. But fortune and disaster coexisted. This place became a sanctuary for cultivation, as it was now filled with resources. Every sand statue was an immortal material filled with transformation path down marks, if it was at least 60 feet tall. There were no longer any blessed lands here. After 1,000,000 years, these blessed lands were either destroyed by tribulations or taken by goo immortals. But here there were countless wild goo worms and even wild immortal goo. Nobody would step here rashly. Because the environment was too dense with Tao marks, mortals could not traverse the desert. It was too dangerous for them. As for Western desert goo immortals, they would also make a detour when they came here. Because of one person. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor. This rank 8 goo immortal, specialized in transformation path, had been here for 1,000 years. The might of rank 8 deterred everyone from antagonizing him. Myriad Statue Desert was 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's territory. Any goo immortal who entered without his permission would need to prepare to face the fury of a rank 8. Deep below the desert, in a Myriad Statue Palace. Deep within the palace, in an eerie dark corner, there was a painful cry that could be heard. Ah! 1,000 transformations. Ancestor raised his head and screamed. He seemed to be in great pain. His expression was terrifying. Every time he shouted, sound waves could be seen spreading outwards. But when these sound waves landed on the palace walls, there would be a veil of light that absorbed all the sound waves rapidly. Because of these walls isolating him, all of the commotion from 1,000 transformations, Ancestor could not be felt outside. Pain! Intense pain! An unbearable pain was assaulting 1,000 transformations, Ancestor's mind and body. His forehead had popping veins. He could not take it anymore. He rolled around the ground in pain. If any other goo immortals saw this, they would be deeply shocked. What was the reason that made 1,000 transformations Ancestor suffer such intense torture? To have lost all of his rank 8 demeanor. Cling! Clang! More than 10 thick chains coiled around 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's body, his forelimbs were connected to chains that stabbed deeply into the surrounding walls. Seeing this, 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was actually imprisoned? No, this cannot continue. I am going to go crazy completely. The intense pain will engulf all my reason and make me a lunatic. Rank 8 myriad tribulation. Even the first one is so terrifying. How can I deal with the next two? Damn it. The final bit of clarity in 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's eyes struggled. Using this last bit of sanity, 1,000 transformations, Ancestor made his choice. Immortal killer, move cutting flesh, transformation. He activated his killer move. He was extremely familiar with this move. At the crucial moment, even though he was in deep pain, the activation did not fail. This rank 8 immortal killer move had grand aura and 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's immortal body started to expand. Like he was a balloon, he became larger and larger, from a muscular middle-aged man into a round and fat meatball, the fat 1,000 transformations. Ancestor shook his body as soft sounds could be heard from within him. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Along with the sound, a meat lump appeared on the side of his neck. The meat lump became larger and larger. It inflated like a balloon. His pain intensified. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor gritted his teeth. His face had swollen up. His eyes could not be seen anymore. Gah! Soon after the meat lump on his neck grew to the size of a face, it reached its limits and exploded. The meat lump exploded as yellow pus splattered. A year beast jumped out and landed on the ground. Woof, woof, woof. After this year beast landed, it started to bark. It was a dog year beast. And its aura was not weak. It was a desolate year beast. After the dog year beast landed on the ground, 1,000 transformations. Ancestor felt a bit of relief. It was as if he was carrying a mountain on his back, and now a rock had been lifted off that mountain. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Next on 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's body, more meat lumps appeared. Puff, puff, puff. In a short time, these meat lumps expanded and exploded as pus oozed out and year beasts appeared. Chicken, monkey, sheep, rabbit, all sorts of year beasts appeared. These year beasts were not just desolate beast level, there were also some ancient year beasts. After some time, the year beasts gathered and attacked. 1,000 transformations, Ancestor. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was not surprised. His expression became more relaxed instead. His pain was greatly reduced. Even though it was still painful, it was at a bearable level now. Against the attack of a dozen year beasts, 1,000 transformations. Ancestor snorted as he willed. Cling, clang! Countless thick chains shot out from the surrounding walls at lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, all of the year beasts were captured and suppressed, no matter how they struggled inside the palace. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor let out a breath of air. I can finally catch a breather. He grabbed the snake year beast closest to him and observed it with his methods. The snake year beast continued to hiss as it exposed its tongue. It wanted to bite 1,000 transformations Ancestor, but was restrained and could not move. A moment later, 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's expression was unchanged, but he was deeply shocked. I used all my methods earlier, but this snake year beast still has such great animosity against me. It wants me dead. My cutting flesh transformation is one of the styles of an immortal killer move from Reckless Savage True Inheritance, suicide transformation. Whenever I use it, life forms would be produced from my body. Regardless of form, they will be manipulated like my limbs. I can use them freely, because they are a portion of my body to begin with. But these year beasts were produced from my body, yet I cannot control them. Even with all my methods, they are useless. Such an amazing myriad tribulation. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's forehead produced a drop of sweat. He thought about his tribulation half a month ago. He was still feeling lingering fear from it. Rank 8 Goo immortals had to go through 3 myriad tribulations. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor had just gone through the first. If not for this immortal goo house left behind by Reckless Savage Demon Venerable, I would not be able to survive the first myriad tribulation at all. Even though I passed it now, I am still severely injured. I had to use cutting flesh transformation to cut my losses short. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor wanted to find some other way around it, but after half a month, he reached his limit and could not endure it anymore. Without a choice, he could only use cutting flesh transformation to discard a portion of his immortal body and get rid of the part of his body that was heavily injured. This time he met with a time path myriad tribulation. The injuries on him were all of time path marks, 1,000 transformations. Ancestor got rid of all these time path marks using cutting flesh transformation, abandoning them. This way, the cutting flesh transformation turned them into year beasts. And because they were filled with heaven's will, these year beasts were not under his control. They were his enemies. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor felt great loss. The costs were too severe. Not just the near catastrophic damage to his immortal aperture from the myriad tribulation. Looking at the marks he lost from cutting flesh transformation, not only did he lose the time path marks, he even lost his own transformation path marks. The marks losses were too huge, 1,000 transformations. Ancestor counted after this myriad tribulation. Not only did he not have any growth in marks, he even made a small loss instead. This means I was better off not going through the tribulation? Thinking of this, the experienced 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's heart felt some bitterness. He sighed deeply. It could not be helped. In the past, he had cultivated boldly and advanced quickly, facing his myriad tribulation. He had stalled it until recently, when he could no longer stall it anymore. Even though he passed the myriad tribulation, 1,000 transformations, Ancestor's foundation did not grow. He even became weaker in terms of marks. I was wrong. 1,000 years ago, by relying on this reckless savage true inheritance, I thought I would progress unhindered. Earthly calamities, heavenly tribulations, grand tribulations. I got through all of them easily, but the myriad tribulation is a completely different story. I underestimated the myriad tribulation's power. These last years I had unknowingly gotten more arrogant. This injury is both a blessing and a disaster to me. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was a rank 8 expert. He was naturally an incredible person. He recalled his experiences and reflected on himself after this severe loss. Right at this time, outside the palace, a female immortal's voice could be heard. Lord Husband, something happened. Sister Quibo's life tablet goo was broken. Her soul lantern goo has turned dim. She went to Translocation Desert, but none of us can contact her now. This is too important. I had no choice but to inform you.